Nigeria leads Africa, adopts national carbon market framework ahead of United Nations 30th session in Brazil.
Nigeria stands ready to take its rightful place as a global leader in climate action.
House of Representatives opens investigation into excessive taxation and deductions by banks.
These deductions have also denied a lot of Nigerians disposable income, causing more hardship to Nigerians.
Also on the news, PVAC partners global pharmaceutical giant to produce life-saving reproductive health products in Nigeria.
The top 2 manufacturers of bed nets in the world are European, and both have identified local Nigerian partners and are mobilizing resources to establish facilities.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Lami Ali, and this is the NTA Network News live from Abuja. Tonight, the top stories shaping the nation. From Lagos, Hingino John Adams reports from the nation's commercial nerve center, where economic activities continue to drive national growth. In business, Benny Adams analyzes the markets, monetary trends, and major developments impacting the financial sector. So, Benny, what's up?
Well, aside the trends in the market, is sharing news that fiscal and tax reforms are beginning to trickle in, with so much gains being benefited by Nigerians more than ever, says Taiwo Oyedele. For details, stay tuned for more.
And in the sports corner, Bade Adeleye brings highlights of outstanding performances, new records and victories making headlines in the world of sports.
Well, Lami, the weekend is here. It's time for league football action. And of course, it's been raining awards when it comes to the NTA Sports family, as some veterans are in for some.
Stay with us. This newscast is streaming live on our website, nta.ng/live. NTA is also on X as NTA News Now, and you can also follow us across other social media platforms. Our other handles are displayed. Now the news begins. Ahead of the 30th session of the United Nations Climate Change Conference in Brazil, President Tinubu has approved the adoption of a national carbon market framework to establish and manage Nigeria's participation in carbon markets. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports that this framework will enable Nigeria to unlock $3 billion annually in carbon finance within 10 years.
This is the second meeting of the National Council on Climate Change, and approvals followed a presentation by the National Council on Climate Change aimed at operationalizing the Climate Change Fund and the restoration of the agency to the budget line. President Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima at the meeting, said the approvals were part of measures to properly position Nigeria to leverage opportunities in the global carbon market and be more active in climate change ecosystem. The meeting is also setting the agenda for Nigeria ahead of the forthcoming 30th United Nations Climate Change Conference, scheduled for Belém, Brazil, to harness all the opportunities for financing climate-resilient projects and related interventions, particularly from the global carbon market.
Through the renewed Hope agenda, this administration has placed strong emphasis on building a new economy for Nigeria, an economy that is green, just, and people-centered. Nigeria stands ready to take its rightful place as a global leader in climate action, ensuring that our voice and our realities are heard and respected in international negotiations.
Nigeria is very, very excited, and we are very excited. It happened just before COP, and we're ready and channeled to move on to the next phase, and Nigeria is officially ready for business.
The Council expressed commitment to providing the technical leadership and coordination needed to translate Nigeria's climate goals into measurable results, as the nation is now eligible to access new rounds of climate finance from multilateral funds. From the State House, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
We go to the National Assembly, where the House of Representatives has launched an investigation into excessive deduction of taxes and sundry charges from the earnings of civil and public servants. The House Ad Hoc Committee set up for the probe will also investigate multiple bank charges imposed on customers' accounts across the country. Lawmakers at an inaugural sitting say the investigation has become imperative, arising from numerous complaints received from civil servants and other citizens about inconsistencies in bank charges and tax deductions.
Doesn't money from salaries to pay house rent. At the end of the day, you cannot be able to pay their house rent. Where are those money? That is why we are here. So I will beg all agencies to cooperate with us.
These deductions have also denied a lot of Nigerians disposable income, causing more hardship to Nigerians. And this is why most Nigerians are crying out to the House to say, please look into these unlawful deductions.
So that at the end of the exercise, we'll be able to see that the interest of our public and civil servants is well protected.
The House of Representatives is assuring Nigerians that it will ensure that financial practices, whether in governments or banking institutions, align with principles of justice and equity. With the emergence of state electricity markets, the federal government says it is developing a national electricity policy coordination framework to align federal and state actions for consistency and regulatory clarity. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu said the move is to ensure harmony and boost investors' confidence in the electricity market. Joshua Ojito reports.
It's 20 years of regulations from a state-run utility to a liberalized private sector-driven electricity market with the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission as the umpire. Now, the new Electricity Act 2023, which unbundled the sector by empowering subnationals to participate, came with opportunities and challenges which stakeholders converge to chart a future for the electricity market.
The federal government has provided the legal and policy framework. The state now have the autonomy to act. The private sector has the capital and the innovation to invest.
The pace of evolution in the electricity supply industry will only accelerate, driven by energy transition and by technological disruption. Our policies and regulations must continue to evolve with these changes.
The creation of Transmission Infrastructure Fund, which is meant to be a fund that will support any private investors that will be willing to invest in our transmission network.
With the theme, Strengthening Power Sector Governance for a Sustainable Future, the session has inputs from former Ministers of Power, former Chairman of Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, among other industry players. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Still on energy matters, Borno State government has expressed commitment to partnering with the Rural Electrification Agency of Nigeria for sustained renewable energy supply to communities and government facilities. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum stated this when he received a delegation from the Rural Electrification Agency of Nigeria, led by its Managing Director, Abba Abubakar Aliyu, on a courtesy visit at the Government House in Maiduguri. Muhammad Guni reports.
The visit by the Managing Director of the Rural Electrification Agency, Abba Abubakar Aliyu, and his team was at the instance of Governor Zulum for a comprehensive roundtable discussion bordering on sustained electrification of the state. Governor Bagana Umar Zulum, who noted Borno's potential for solarization with about 13 hours of sunshine, especially during the hot season, said the state government will provide the needed political will and commitment to drive the process.
Electricity is now under the concurrent legislative list. This is something very important. I've started working on it, how the state will establish its own output.
200 of them are going to be interconnected mini grids, and the remaining are going to be isolated mini grids.
The Managing Director, who graphically presented the overview of the entire framework of the project, also advised government on how best to incentivize the private investors to come to Borno State, as they always choose where to go. The governor led the Rural Electrification Agency officials on facility tour to Maiduguri Water Treatment Plant, Bola Ahmed Tinubu Secondary School, State Specialist Hospital, Mega Renewable Energies Charging Point, Jimtilo Industrial Hub, and Kashim Ibrahim University Teaching Hospital. At all the places visited, state officials and the Rural Electrification Agency officials rub minds on the energy needs of the government facilities and how the agency will bridge the gap for a sustained supply, leveraging the Integrated Renewable Energy Initiative. In Maiduguri, Mohamed Goni, NTA News.
The federal government and the European Union, through the Presidential Initiative for Unlocking the Healthcare Value Chain, PVAC, have signed 3 memoranda of understanding to strengthen healthcare distribution, supply and local manufacturing in Nigeria, frontlined by an MOU signed between the German pharmaceutical giant Bayer and Nigeria's Cromedics to establish reproductive health products manufacturing facility in Anambra State to ensure enhanced distribution of pharmaceutical products for the public market in Nigeria, local manufacturing capacity development for essential reproductive health products, and articulated technology transfer of selected technologies and manufacturing steps to Nigeria. Speaking as the Nigeria EU Health Investment Forum in Abuja themed Made in Nigeria, Made for Health, the national coordinator of PVAC, Dr. Abdul Mukhtar, stated that the partnerships would significantly enhance local production of healthcare products, tapping into a market currently valued at $4 to $6 billion.
For example, the top 2 manufacturers of bed nets in the world are European, and both have identified local Nigerian partners and are mobilizing resources to establish facilities to be used as hubs for the wider Africa region.
Today, we are looking at a potential pipeline of 150 million euros, which together with the 80 million euros NAF Plus budget that we are launching today, brings our total support for the government's local manufacturing agenda to over 130 million euros.
Following President Bola Tinubu's directive to provide free healthcare for low-income pensioners under the Contributory Pension Scheme, it's a new dawn for retirees as a competent board of trustees has been inaugurated to oversee the pilot pension industry healthcare initiative known as PenCare. Maria Adu-Zakari has the details.
For years, many pensioners have had to choose between paying hospital bills and meeting daily needs. But that may soon change. This is as the National Pension Commission, in collaboration with licensed pension operators, are joining forces to fund free healthcare services for retirees across the country.
Do you know that to buy insulin to handle a diabetic pensioner costs almost 13,000 naira for a pensioner to buy an insulin?
At the initial stage, about 20,000 pensioners are expected to benefit from the scheme.
Members of this board have been carefully selected for their integrity, competence, and deep professional experience in the pension, health, and financial sectors.
Let's start with the pilot scheme, or perhaps phase 1, so to speak. And the whole idea is to see, can we start with the most vulnerable?
The initiative will serve as a corporate social responsibility effort by both PENCOM and the licensed pension operators, aimed at supporting beneficiaries of the Contributory Pension Scheme. Maria Ado-Zakari, NTA News.
Nigerian youths have been asked to ditch street protests for dialogue as the government readies a seat for them as the negotiating table. Stakeholders on youth matters stated this as the Youth National Discourse Abuja 2025, organized by the Eleni Cares Leadership Foundation in Abuja. Olanka Ojo reports.
The youth population of any country is a powerful driver of peace, innovation and sustainable growth, and Nigeria is no exception.
Protest comes from when we feel our voices are not heard. So if our voices are heard truly, there will not be a place of protest.
This National Youth Dialogue, From Protest to Dialogue, Redefining Youth Engagement for National Transformation, is a testament to this fact.
Our progress as a country will not come from the street of protest, but one, from the table to dialogue. Protest is part of democracy, but dialogue sustains progress.
It is a movement of minds and hearts, a platform to brainstorm, to connect, and to chart a realistic roadmap for national transformation.
For me, with respect to security, dialogue is essential, so that the citizenry can air their views, and of course government, or government establishment or other stakeholders can have an insight into what their views are.
The panelists discussed issues surrounding youth and political participation, building trust and inclusion through digital identity, and Nigeria's new tax system. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
As Nigerians look forward to 2027 general elections, key players are advocating digitizing electoral process and inclusivity, making the voices of young people heard. This resonates during the two-day Youth Summit 2025, organized by the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies in collaboration with iLead Africa and partners in Abuja. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
With the theme, Road to 2027, leveraging digital innovation to deepen citizens' participation and inclusive governance, the summit coincides with the 10th anniversary of World Youth Skills Day. For the speakers, Nigeria stands at a pivotal moment in its democratic journey, with the youth that constitutes over 60% of the population becoming a powerful force for change.
Let us remember, innovation is not about the next app, it's about the next chapter of our national identity.
In the ministry, we are deeply committed to positioning Nigerian youth to the forefront of the digital revolution.
This summit is not just an event, it is a call to action, an opportunity to reimagine and reshape the ways in which young people can and must be included in the governance processes that will shape our collective future.
Others are of the conviction that harnessing the digital space for youth political engagement and participation will push for actionable reforms and build stronger support systems for greater political representation. In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
We pause now. Nigeria is implementing the Federal Civil Service Strategy and Implementation Plan 2025 to build a digitally driven, performance-based and citizen-centered civil service through the Enterprise Content Management Solution. This was part of President Bola Tinubu's message delivered by the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Didi Esther Wilson-Jack, at the 57th International Conference and Exhibition of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. Sokpe Alabi was there.
The federal government, under the National Talent Export Program, is training 3 million new generation of digital professionals to drive Nigeria's knowledge economy competitiveness. The Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, CIPM, while harnessing youth, innovative and creative energy to power a new industrial and digital revolution following a nationwide 2025 quiz and essay writing competitions among universities, is also unveiling a mobile app as part of its digital initiatives to enhance learning and membership services.
The future of work is not about machines replacing people. It is about people becoming more human in the age of machines.
As we progress, the convergence to build public-private integrated in terms of HR will be achieved very soon.
Recent data from the National Bureau of Statistics indicates that Nigeria's total labor force is approximately 113.35 million in 2024, ages between 15 and 64, making the country's human capacity not just as a national asset, but an exportable resource. With an exhibition designed to showcase Nigeria's HR firms, this CIPM gathering is hinged on reimagining the the new world of work.
I encourage you to continue leading conversations that connect people to national strategy. In doing so, you are managing national destiny.
The 57th CIPM International Conference is a huge success, and I'm happy.
As federal government reforms labor laws to reflect modern realities, what CIPM seeks is for human resource professionals to become architects of resilience and the heartbeat of every thriving organization. In Abuja, Tokwe Alabi, NTA News.
The Nigerian Armed Forces have held a colorful pulling out parade in honor of the immediate past Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Gwabin Musa, marking the end of an illustrious military career spanning nearly 4 decades. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa captured the events as the Mogadishu cantonment in Abuja.
Left, right. The rhythm of the parade and the tone of the combined military band, setting the tone for the solemn yet celebratory occasion. Serving and retired service chiefs, family members, friends and well-wishers gathered to witness the symbolic and sacred military tradition, marking the end of a distinguished career of the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Gwabin Musa. His journey began precisely 39 years and 4 months ago, rising through the ranks to the pinnacle of his career as a 4-star general and the nation's defense chief. During his 2 years in office, General Musa spearheaded decisive military operations that led to the surrender of more than 90,000 terrorists and their families, depleted the Lakura terrorist group and dismantled several criminal networks across the country. In his valedictory speech, General Musa described his exit as a moment of fulfillment, urging the nation's gallant troops to remain steadfast, reminding them that defeat is temporary, but victory is certain and binding.
As I hang my uniform today, I do so with a clear conscience, knowing that I gave my all. I live with cherished memories of camaraderie, of battles fought, and of triumphs celebrated as one family. The sound of the bugle might change for me, but the soldier's heart beats on forever.
Is the end of an era for the former Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, born in 1967 and joined the NDA in 1986 as a member of the 18th Regular Corps. From the Mogadishu cantonment here in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
In a strategic move to enhance operational efficiency in line with the command philosophy of the new Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sunday Aneke, the Nigerian Air Force has comprehensively redeployed senior officers. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports.
I wish to assure all officers and airmen that I shall continue from where my predecessor stopped in the quest to attain the required posture that will guarantee Nigeria the security and stability necessary for development and peaceful coexistence.
Following his assumption of office as the 23rd Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sunday Aneke has set the ball rolling with the appointment of branch chiefs. Air Commodore Ehime Ejodame, the Director of Public Relations and Information, confirmed the postings approved by as the 23rd Chief of the Air Staff as designed to optimize command effectiveness and reinforce mission readiness across Headquarters Nigerian Air Force, field commands and units. The reshuffle places seasoned leaders in key positions to drive NAVSCO objectives. It is intended to sustain the momentum of transformation and usher in an era of smarter, more adaptive air operations, fully reflecting the Chief of the Air Staff's vision for a purposeful and progressive force. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
In other news, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodimma says that democracy and good governance are the permanent panacea to the security challenges besieging African nations. Delivering a keynote lecture at the National Institute for Security Studies, he insisted that when good governance thrives, the conditions that encourage insecurity will diminish. Dennis Adegunloye reports.
In his lecture to the participants of Executive Intelligence Management Course 18 at the National Institute for Security Studies, Governor Uzodinma urged African leaders to adopt the model of good governance practices as being demonstrated by the President Bola Tinubu administration, which he said have significantly reduced the disruptive activities of non-state actors in the country.
The relationship between government and the governed is defined and determined by performance. So when the people see, they believe, and when they believe, they follow.
He said President Tinubu had long discovered the strategy that is resulting in the progress Nigeria is making in combating insurgency and banditry.
When this current president announced subsidy removal, it was not an easy decision. That subsidy came with its pains, initial pains. But today, you can see how the thing has resulted to more revenue to our people. I can tell you that all the serious subnational governments, none will now say there has no money to address at least the primary and the elementary problems of their states.
He, however, calls on the intelligence community to brace up to the security challenges by understanding that security is inseparable from governance, economic opportunity and justice. The ceremony was attended by intelligence chiefs from different parts of Africa. In Abuja, Dennis Adegunloye, NTA News.
Now, zoning political offices in Nigeria is a practice aimed at ensuring regional balance and inclusivity. It, however, remains a deeply debated issue against the backdrop of competence. Steve Lonai is examining this issue with some political pundits.
These respondents argue that it promotes unity and gives all zones a sense of belonging in governance. However, critics contend that zoning often sacrifices merit and competence.
Whether you zone or not, there are competent people in all the zones. Parties should look more at what yardstick they have for measuring competence.
Zoning is to reduce the tension. It is very nice, but you cannot throw away competence. Rather, those people that are the position to bring the presidency must look inward and bring out a very competent and sound person for the entire country.
Many citizens are calling for a shift from identity-based politics towards competence-driven leadership in Onitsha. Steve Lonai Nwaokolo, NTA News.
The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has restrained the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, from recognizing the outcome of the forthcoming 2025 National Convention of the People's Democratic Party. The presiding judge, Justice James Omotosho, gave the order while delivering judgments in a suit challenging the legality of the convention. The court predicated its decision on the failure of PDP to comply with relevant conditions and laws for the conduct of such conventions. The court equally held that evidence from the electoral umpire and some of the respondents showed that congresses were not held in some states of the federation in breach of the law. Justice Omotosho held that the failure of the PDP to comply with the law has put the planned convention in jeopardy and subsequently advised the PDP to do the needful before going ahead with the convention. In the light of this, the court restrained INEC from receiving, publishing or recognizing the outcome of the convention slated for Ibadan until the law has been complied with. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party says it is appalled by the judgments of the Federal High Court Abuja, presided over by Justice Kolawole Omotosho. PDP National Publicity Secretary Debo Lugunagba, in a statement, explains that the judgments of the court does not vitiate its ability to proceed with the processes and activities towards the National Convention to elect new national officers to pilot the affairs of the party for the next 4 years. It notes further that the recent judgment of the Supreme Court affirms the supremacy of a political party in the management of its internal affairs. The PDP therefore charges its members, chapters and organs to remain steadfast and focus on preparations towards the holding of the National Convention of the party. The statement emphasizes PDP's commitment to the rule of law and has directed its lawyers to take immediate action to appeal the judgment in an effort to uphold, defend and promote multi-party democracy in the country. Lagos is where we go next to continue the news as Hingino brings us details from that. And Hingino, you're on.
Welcome to Lagos. Water hyacinths are always a source of danger on waterways, from causing accidents, threatening aquatic lives to slowing down economic activities. To stop the spread, the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, has begun its annual water hyacinth clearance in Lagos. Lanre Bele witnessed the exercise and now reports.
This massive spread of water hyacinth seems beautiful to an unsuspecting onlooker, but the dangers that come with it's better imagined than experienced.
You are looking at the sea covered by water hyacinth completely. And all activities here at Ipakodo Jetty in Ikorodu is grounded due to this water hyacinth.
Every year from July to December, most of the inland waterways and jetties are invaded by water hyacinth, becoming a menace to captains and their boats, clogging propellers and eventually knocking up both engines. This equipment clearing up the hyacinth is called the swamp devil, often used by the nation's inland waterways to clear the path for boat movement.
Water hyacinth is an invasive aquatic weed. It is causing a lot of menace on our waterways. It's always disturbing water transportation, navigation, fisheries, and so on and so forth on the waterways. You can see that we have deployed machineries here. It's for safety of water users, safety of boat owners' boats, because their boats, if allowed to navigate in this water hyacinth, will be damaged.
This exercise, NIWA says, will be carried out in all jetties and waterways across Lagos State.
The research is ongoing on how to use water hyacinth for other things, because research is saying that it can be used for some things like bags and things when it is dehydrated and converted. But till then, the path for inland waterways has to be cleared. In Lagos, Lanre Bileyi, NTA News.
The Nigeria LNG has unveiled another initiative to discover talents and create Nigerian culture. Bolaji Akim, who was at a press conference where the Nigeria Prize for Creative Arts was officially presented, reports that the theme for the first edition is identity.
Designed to complement existing prizes in literature and science, the Nigeria Prize for Creative Arts by NLNG is to reward excellence in culture, artistic contributions, and celebrate outstanding Nigerian creativity. With $20,000 as prize money, NLNG General Manager, External Relations and Sustainable Development, Dr. Sophia Osfall, explained that the Nigeria Prize for Creative Arts is about telling Nigeria's story in a documentary film.
The time is right now to recognize the amazing work, creativity that we're seeing with young people in the creative arts space. But where is it that we even need to put further attention? And that is in the area of documentary film, and give young people the opportunity to tell the story, their story.
Technical advisor, the Nigeria Prize for Creative Arts, who is also a multiple award-winning filmmaker, Joel Benson, speaks on the criteria for the participants.
The prize is interested in stories that reflect on belonging, transformation, heritage, and self-definition, whether they're personal, social, political, artistic, or spiritual.
The advisory board remains steadfast in its commitment to uphold the highest standards of excellence and integrity.
The award entry organizers say is open to any young Nigerian documentary filmmaker between the ages of 18 and 35, and it covers work done in April 2024 to April 2026. The prize will officially commence in 2026, while the official call for entries will be in February 2026. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
That's all from Lagos. The news will be back with Busy Benny on the business segment after the...
Good to know you're still here and you're on to Africa's largest TV network, the NTA. It's time to talk business.
Now, fuel surcharge won't take effect until Naira strengthens or prices drop, says Taiwo Oyedele, chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms. Speaking at the Haulage and Logistics Magazine conference, Oyedele explained that although the fuel surcharge is a well-conceived policy aimed at funding road maintenance, implementing it under the current economic conditions would only increase hardship for Nigerians. He noted that the surcharge originally introduced during the former President Olusegun Obasanjo's administration was designed to channel part of the fuel revenues into road repairs, with 40% allocated for federal roads, 60% for state and local government roads.
A turnaround in the macro means the overall position from spending almost our money to service debts. Government now generates far more than they need to service debt. Debt service now is under 60%. It's still high, but it's going down very fast. From a net position of under $4 billion in our reserve, we now have more than $23 billion. From NNPC saying the Federation is owing them money, NNPC just released their result for September. They said this year alone, they have remitted 10 trillion naira to the Federation account. That's over $7 billion.
Now, a critical aspect of this reform is the elimination of several, taxes, multiple taxation, illegal levies, which continue to inflate the cost of transportation of goods in our country. If you look at the inflation figures critically, food inflation is a major driver of inflation in Nigeria. And if you look at food inflation, transportation is a major driver.
Oyedele emphasized that the reforms aim to simplify Nigeria's complex tax systems, improve transparency, and ensure that revenues are efficiently distributed across federal, state, and local governments, paving the way for a more sustainable fiscal structure. And now looking at the markets at this time, it's a mixed fortune for the continent as the week draws to a close, reflecting the diverse economic forces at play across the continent, from the banking halls of Lagos to the mining houses of Johannesburg and the history markets of Tunis. Investors grapple with inflation concerns, domestic reforms, as well as shifting global commodity prices. The Nigerian market saw financial as well as oil and gas stocks losing, potentially due to profit-taking or concerns around consumer spending power. And looking at South Africa, the Johannesburg stock market closed slightly lower, with weakness in heavyweight tech and consumer stocks, such as Naspers, weighed on the overall index. And the Tunisia index is also poised for continued moderate growth, driven by positive momentum in its manufacturing and ICT export sectors. Investors will watch for signs of deeper economic reforms and increased foreign direct investment to sustain the rally, especially given the positive sentiment around potential for increased trade with Nigeria and other African partners. Well, that is it on business at this time. Lami, it's nice doing business with you.
Thank you, Benny, for those insightful market reports. Now, the rich cultural heritage of Eleme Kingdom came alive as communities in Incha Eleme gathered at the market square for the annual wrestling festival, also known as Egelege. Ijoma Ugweke reports that the event was graced by One Incha X, King Apollos Chu, and notable guests who came from far and near.
That grand entrance of Oninche X, His Royal Highness King Apollos Chu, accompanied by his queen and the chiefs of various communities in Inchia into the wrestling arena, signaled the commencement of the festival. The significance went beyond entertainment, as it also served as a way of showcasing the community's strength, unity, and cultural identity. The wrestlers were dressed in traditional attire, adorned with raffia and small bells that jingled as they moved. The atmosphere was lively with music and dance, adding to the excitement. The competition was fierce, with wrestlers engaging in intense matches. In the end, the winners were rewarded with prizes presented by the Onenchie X, King Apollos Chu.
What we are witnessing here today in Chia is what used to be our ancient culture. Yes. This is our tradition. Yes. This is who we are.
Traditional ruler, our value, our job is just a simple one. Our job is to promote the culture and then secure the culture and promote it, secure it for the next generation. And what happened today is one of our value, one of our culture, one of our tradition, that the younger one of all sizes, of all ages, they are all here and they are seeing it. I will not be here forever, but I need to secure it for them. That's what our forefathers have been practicing, and that is our value. That what we call us Elemema.
The 2025 Eleme Wrestling Festival was a resounding success, a testament to the community's commitment to preserving its cultural heritage. From Eleme, Ijomu Weke, NTA News.
Experts deliberate on Nigeria's exit from the Financial Action Task Force, impact on global image and economy, believed to be a huge win for Nigeria by President Tinubu's administration. This comes up live on Tuesday, on the 4th of November 2025. Tune in to know how this development will boost investor confidence, increase capital inflow, improve Nigeria's global standing, and enhance financial stability. NTA Tuesday Live comes up every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. NTA Tuesday Live, educative and incisive. Don't miss it.
Bade has the sports update.
Thanks, Lami. Let's begin with some awards coming for outstanding sports administrators, journalists and athletes, and philanthropists. We're all here today in Abuja, honored at the 60th anniversary dinner and award night of the Sports Writers of Nigeria at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja, with about 400 eminent Nigerians getting recognized. No fewer than 7 from the NTA Sports family also bagged individual awards, with veterans like Hamid Adio and Abdurrahman Ibn Mohammed celebrated. Also honored were Zonal Director, NTA Port Harcourt Network Center, Polate, General Manager, NTA Sports, Kayode Adeniyi, Deputy Director News, Kende Lamidi, and former NTA Sports reporter, Niyo Oyeleke, including veteran cameraman, Ganiyu Oloyede. Moving on, the National Sports Commission is collaborating with the Chinese Embassy in Nigeria to advance the development of martial sports in the country. The latest in the partnership saw more than 60 martial artists compete in 6 categories of the just concluded Chinese Ambassadors Cup Mixed Martial Arts Championship at the velodrome of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. Competitors who demonstrated exceptional skill, discipline and teamwork are set to be integrated into grassroots sports development programs.
Yeah, I really want to appreciate all the players that participated.
It's a new sport that is coming up in the whole world, and our kids are getting on that platform to live their dreams.
Moving on, match day 11 action will take center stage in the Nigeria Premier Football League this weekend with 10 matches on offer. Reigning champions Remo Stars travel to face Kwara United. Leaders Nasarawa United are away to Rivers United, while Laimba and Kano Pillars will clash in a battle of underperformance. In England, Burnley host Arsenal in a match that will be live on NTA from 3:30 in the afternoon on Saturday, with Manchester United hoping to continue with their winning run against Nottingham Forest. Tottenham face Chelsea, with underperforming Liverpool entertaining Aston Villa. In Spain, there will be Week 9 fixtures, with Real Madrid up against Valencia, while Barcelona take on Elche. In Italy, Napoli host Como, Verona entertain Inter Milan, while AC Milan and AS Roma have course to settle. And that does it on Network News Sports tonight. Let's now return to Lami.
Thank you, Buddy. Saturday's weather forecast is next.
To your weather update. Across the southern cities, expect mostly cloudy skies
with chances of light rains, especially around the coastal and inland areas of the south, as we move from late morning into afternoon hours. For the central region, conditions should remain partly cloudy for most of the day, though a few spots in the southern parts of Benue, Kogi, and Taraba may see brief isolated showers. Up north, it's largely sunny and dry, but visibility might drop slightly over areas such as Katsina, Kano, some parts of Jigawa, Yobe, Borno, and Bauchi due to dust haze. So while the north stays bright, those in the south may want to watch out for some rainfall activities. Up next is the temperature forecast. Stay tuned for more updates.
And that's it on NTA Network News for tonight. We thank you for watching. I'm Lami Ali. Do have a beautiful weekend.